Morgan Cable is doing research at the NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratory. Thatcher Howard is an electronic engineer for Northrop Grumman. Judah Scott has a new passion for science. What ties them together is a love for discovery, a thirst for knowledge, and a special place that inspired science, the Orlando Science Center.
The Science Center did help me realize my dreams. I was inspired at this very young age. I was exposed to all sorts of different science. Because of that, I think I was able to make a very informed decision about my career goals.
Morgan Cable grew up in Central Florida. She now has her PhD from Caltech and is doing research at the NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratory.
Doing a career in science is one of the most rewarding things I could have ever imagined. I mean, the stuff that I get to do, besides just being really, really cool and fascinating, I'm helping to answer fundamental questions. Are we alone in the universe? Could there be life on Mars?
Morgan is studying life in extreme environments. She originated a project at the Orlando Science Center more than a decade ago. It won her an award at the Dr. Ying Science Competition. Her research has taken her to the top of Mount Kilimanjaro and to South Korea, where she taught space camp. In many ways, Morgan's experience at the Science Center exponentially inspired other children around the world.
Science gives us the tools to sort of address a lot of the problems that we have going on today. Things like global warming, health effects, research into diabetes and cancer and all those types of very, very important diseases that are relevant today. If you don't turn to science, I mean, who else can you turn to?
Morgan is right. In just 5 years, there will be more than 3 million job openings in STEM-related fields. However, the National Science Foundation estimates there will be a gap of more than 1 million workers. Another sobering statistic? Florida students rank 43rd in math and 49th in science across the nation. The Science Center is working to reverse that trend, one child at a time.
We need places like the Science Center. We need children to be inspired at a young age. When you're first shaping your idea of what kind of career you want, what you want to do, what you want to be, if you don't get them young, if you don't sort of start asking those big questions, then by the time they actually know that this type of science is out there, it'll be too late.
The Orlando Science Center does get them young. With an average of 375,000 guests per year, it's the most popularly visited cultural venue in Orlando. But there's still more work to be done. The Science Center relies on donations to cover the costs of scholarships, to fund school field trips, and to pay for Science Day camps, events that inspire young people who couldn't otherwise afford to visit. People like Thatcher Howard.
The first time I went to the Science Center was doing a field trip in 6th grade.
Thatcher was raised by his single mother in poverty-stricken South Apopka, but hardship didn't stop his passion for knowledge, and the Science Center inspired him.
I think my main focus was on how I could take what I've learned from the Science Center and use it in what I was doing at home at the time, which was taking apart the motors and generators from different toys and using the wheels to build different toys, different vehicles.
From toys to F-18s, Thatcher worked on military aircraft in the Navy and is now an electronics engineer for Northrop Grumman.
Being able to be exposed to that information at an early age and being able to take that information and use it with some activities that I was doing at home definitely let me know that once I got older into college, that was the way I wanted to go with my career.
Thatcher now gives back to the Science Center by supporting the very programs that impacted him as a child. Programs that also inspired the Scott children at a time when they needed it most. The Scott family had it all: a solid income, a nice home, and a comfortable lifestyle. Then their father lost his job.
We basically ended up pretty much losing almost everything we'd worked for because he lost his job, because his projects ended, not because he was fired, but as that spiraled down in his industry, he ended up losing his job, and we ended up just literally running through all of our finances and ended up with zero money. And about that time, my husband had a stroke.
After their lives were turned upside down, Rachel worked 3 jobs, took care of her husband, and raised a family, but she just couldn't afford summer camp for her children.
At that time, no one could have given us a greater gift. And so here we were, we filled out the paperwork, and 4 of my kids got to come and have the week of their life. And it really meant a lot to us, especially at that time. It was like saying love. If someone could have said, love, we love your family, that's what it was.
When I was in the robotics class, I learned how all the wheels and the levers and the motors worked.
After the camp, I noticed that I'm better at science experiments now.
One of my favorite parts was going to the exhibits every time. We went through the frog exhibit, the dinosaurs, and then the one where it shows the racing cars and then the fly a plane and the earthquake. That's fun. It inspired me to be an engineer.
It's that kind of inspiration that makes giving so important. By supporting the Science Center, you support the future.
As a person giving, you just don't know who you're touching. You don't know how your gift is going to change someone's life in the future and now.
Inspire Science, it inspired me.
Inspire science because it inspires me.
Inspire science. It inspired me.
Inspire science, it inspires me.
Who will you inspire?